And we're on. Hi, this is a hopefully concise video, one that I recommend you getting your calendar out for or a notebook so you can jot some stuff down. I'm going to share with you what's happening in the studio, what's happening in Regarding Do this season to support you in deepening in your creative engagement with life. I'm guessing that you're watching this through the Regarding Do letters. Sorry, I'm also a little congested. You might be stumbling across this video just on YouTube. So if that's the case, hi, I'm happy that we ran into each other. And my name is Maggie. My work has always been about deepening in creative connection with yourself and with life. And that might look like deepening in your creative practices as they already exist, evolving them, expanding them. It might mean starting a creative practice for the first time. It might mean coming into relationship with the part of yourself that feels like your creative self, the part of yourself that feels bold and true and soft. Centering creativity as the nucleus of your life and as the mind framing, the framework in which you move through your life. Can already feel like a lonely journey because in general, the significance of us all being inherently creative beings is not reflected in society. There might be people in your life that are actively discouraging or unsupportive. I see this all the time. The way that we just have to sometimes move through the day doing work and fulfilling responsibilities makes it sometimes easy for creative fulfillment to go on the back burner. Especially when it takes courage, especially when there's creative fear and wounds around trusting creative desires and leaning into them and learning from them. So I want to name that as the foundation. You know this even if you're a full-time artist or a full-time writer. It's true no matter, it's true across the board, I think. And it's part of the process. And it can feel especially futile and hopeless to center creativity when tens of thousands of people are being killed and maimed and traumatized and terrorized ongoingly. What I'm inviting in this is to see creative engagement with life as the opposite, as the antidote to staying stuck in despair and numbness and looking away or tuning out. Using creative engagement as the pathway to connection, to being responsive, to living in a way that really honors your humanity and others' humanity and your values, and creates more space for courageous action, for aligned action in all areas of your life. I've written about this before, but I stand by this, that your creativity, your expression and trusting of that is a force of care for yourself and others, and it ripples. And it allows us to take other actions that might be scary or out of our comfort zone at first. Okay, I can talk a lot, so I'm gonna try to get to what the offerings are. At the end of November, I'm going to try something that I've never done before. From Wednesday, November 29th to Sunday, December 3rd, that's 5 days, we're going to do a writing dash. And I always do this when I talk in videos, a writing dash. Oh, I'm losing my voice because I was talking too much. Here's the thing about the writing dash. Last year, I had a major move and just spontaneously had this idea to write and publish for 5 days. And I did it, even though I didn't think that I would do it. I thought it would be another one of those situations where I made a lofty goal and commitment to myself and I broke it. And I thought that I would have more evidence around not being able to be consistent, not being able to trust myself, all of that. But I did it. And I think one of the reasons why it worked was because there was no time limit, there was no length limit, there was no genre or form limit. I just had to write something, anything, and then I had to do the scary action, which was I had to share it with others. I had to publish it through the Regarding Do letters, which are on Substack. If you're seeing this via YouTube, I'll link it below. It wasn't the right timing. I didn't feel ready for it at all. It was just a spontaneous thing that I felt compelled to do, and it happened. And what I noticed very quickly in the process was how much it affected other areas of life. I felt bolder. I felt more clear. My self-trust increased, and I got to rewrite in the process. I got to rewrite stories of consistency and discipline and actually lean into experimentation and stuff like that. So that was something that shifted many areas of life for me immediately, but also on deeper levels that started to reveal themselves over time. I revisited that writing the other day and thought, why don't we try this together? Why don't we have a writing dash together? So here's how it's going to go. 5 days, you can write, same thing, any length, any form, any set amount of time. You don't have to write at the same time every day. You just have to get pen to paper onto the page every day for 5 days or into the document, whatever. And this is a stretchy action, only if you want to take it. I really recommend that you do, is publish that in some way. So this could be starting a blog if you don't have a blog yet. It could be starting a secret blog. You don't have to tell anyone about it. It could be writing a letter to a friend one day and sending them that letter. That would be a form of publishing or sharing it out. So I can go on about this. There's more details below. This is going to be totally free. And when you sign up for this, I'll send a video every day with prompts, creative encouragement. It'll be much shorter than this. I can tell I'm in a chatty mood right now, but it'll be shorter, I promise. So I hope that you join for that. If you want to let me know below by saying I'm in, then I can just gauge some interest for who will be joining. This is a really great thing to invite a friend along to as well, so that you can help keep each other accountable. Okay, so that's the writing dash. I'm aware of the time, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. The next is a new offering called Root to Blossom, and that is us working together privately one-on-one. This is the only way to work together outside of a 3-month container minimum, or through taking something called a course called Growing a Writing Practice. But this is just 1 month, Root to Blossom. What will happen is I'll give you a pre-session digital workbook, a reflective workbook that you can then revisit again and again. It's going to look at things from a bird's eye view and also get granular. That in itself is just, there's been a lot of love baked into that. You'll get that. We'll have a session at the start of the month, and you'll get clear on where you are, or share, if you are clear already, where you are, what you want, what you're looking to create, and then commit to a very doable practice in the container of that month. And I'll be there as a support. On Fridays, I'll have office hours and we can always touch base. And then we'll have another session at the very end of the month. So it's not too much time on your end, but it's a really tight container if you're looking for a deepening, a rooting down, and a blossoming, a rising up and expanding, taking your bold next move. The way that I can best describe it is a co-creative process of self-inquiry, reflective practices, and action that's aligned with your wholeness. What I'm here for is for you trusting your creative desires and taking small, doable, consistent, stubborn action in a way that honors them. And I am here for your creative vision. So if you're interested in Root to Blossom, you can just sign up below. There's a limited amount of spots because of my schedule, but you can sign up below. This is closing in February, and it'll come back just for May and just for September. Okay, just a couple more things. I should have said this one first, but I got excited about the writing dash. On Monday, November 12th, we're having a new moon writing gathering. It's coming back for the winter only and the very early spring. If you don't know what the new moon writing gathering is, if you haven't joined for this, I just give journaling prompts. I usually give about 2 of them, sometimes 1, sometimes a few more than 2, depending on the length. And we journal together for 30 minutes. These are very small groups, like under 5 people. We have new faces, like repeating people, but people change who shows up for each one depending on the time. And we just journal together. There's no breakout rooms, there's no introductions, there's no sharing or reading whatever you've read out loud. It's your time to check in with yourself and journal with the help of prompts in community. If you put off journaling, if you just want to gather in that way that's both lighthearted and really honoring of the depth, that's why this exists. It's meant to be a cadence for your month. You know, it happens around the new moon. So that's happening on Monday, November 12th in the evening. I have the information below. That is a gift to paid subscribers of the Regarding Due letters, and that's $5 if you want to join for that. Okay, let me just jump to this. At the very beginning of January, I'll share more information about this later, but at the very beginning of January, I'm going to be offering also a free, it's not really a workshop, it's kind of like a co-working session. It will be guided in certain ways. I'll share stuff about that coming up, but it's basically going to be a closing the loop co-working session. So we're going to start out the new year by closing small loops, closing major loops around open tasks, open projects, the stuff that has been having you feeling daunted or that you've been really putting off. It might look like cleaning out a drawer. It might look like clearing out your inbox. It might look like decluttering, honestly, but it might look like moving forward in certain ways. And I'll share more about that as we get closer to January. I just want to let you know that that's coming up, and that's there as a space to come into direct experience with dauntedness and overwhelm potentially, or procrastination, in a way that is hopefully smaller, manageable, doable, and in community. Okay, and the very last thing, the thing that I'm most excited to share with you, is that Growing a Writing Practice is a course that I teach through Regarding Due, and I am having the final session this Saturday for the pilot release. This is a course that I've taught before, but I decided to do a pilot release to refine and upgrade the curriculum, and then I'm going to refine and upgrade it even more after this pilot because I've learned a lot. I'm learning on stage, and that will be coming back at the end of January. This is all about growing a writing practice, not necessarily fiction or to write your book. You can do that for sure, but also just writing as a way of being. Writing is a way of interacting with life. And I'm going to be sharing more of that through the Gentle Musings podcast, which is just a free resource all around the very stuff that I talked about today and could gush about for, years to come. So, that's all I had to share with you today. Thank you for sticking with me through this. If only you could see the outtakes, I won't be sharing those, but still getting comfortable on camera. So this is longer than I wanted it to be, but you stuck with it, so thank you. I really am grateful for our connection and hope that these offerings are what you need and reach you right on time so that you can feel creatively bold and nourished in your life, however that might look. Whatever season you are in personally. I'm going to stop talking now because I could keep on going on. This is my favorite kind of stuff to talk about. All right, I hope we connect soon, and until next time, take good care.